Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today in this video, we'll discuss the life cycle of the malarial parasite or the life cycle of the Plasmodium, you can say. Plasmodium is the causative agent of the malaria. So the life cycle would be discussed in this video. Stay connected, don't go anywhere, watch the complete video. This video definitely increase your knowledge, inshallah. Okay, so let's start the video. And one thing I would like to say that please don't forget to share the channel. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and share with your friends and family. Okay, thank you so much. Now we are going to start the life cycle of the malarial parasite. We know that the malaria is caused by the Plasmodium. So we can say that we are discussing the Plasmodium species life cycle. Okay, and this species require two hosts. One host is the mosquito, that is the Anopheles mosquito, and another host is the man, or we are also the host of this protozoan Plasmodium. So it requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. Okay. So the different species of malarial parasites that occurs in the nature is Plasmodium falciparum. It's the most severe species and it causes the severe form of the malaria. Okay. And then next is the Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium vivax, and the last is the Plasmodium malaria. Okay. These four species cause the malaria, but the Plasmodium falciparum is the most severe form, severe parasite, and it causes the severe form of the malaria. Okay. Now, moving on here, we are going to discuss that it requires, as we have already discussed that this species require two hosts to complete its life cycle, man and mosquito. Man is the intermediate host of the Plasmodium species as compared to the mosquito, which is the definitive host. You can see on my screen. Mosquito is the definitive host in this life cycle. It means that the sexual phases or sexual part of the life cycle begin in the gut of the mosquito. So as the parasite completes its sexual phase of the life cycle in the mosquito, so mosquito is the definitive host, and as the Plasmodium takes the man as to complete its asexual phases of the cycle, okay, to it, so the man is the intermediate host. And one thing, please memorize in your mind that intermediate host is the host in which the asexual phases of the life cycle occurs, and the definitive host is that host in which the sexual phases of the life cycle occur. So the mosquito is the definitive host in the life cycle of the Plasmodium. Okay. Now, what happens when the life cycle begins? So we discuss it one by one, all the steps we'll discuss. Number one, that mosquito injects sporozoites. So sporozoites are cells, are the stage of the malarial parasite Plasmodium. Plasmodium form sporozoites at particular stage of its life, and mosquito injects that sporozoites, okay, in the body of man. So this mosquito injects the sporozoites in the body of man. This purple box, this box shows the man, okay, and the sporozoites go into the liver of the man, and the exoerythrocytic schizogony starts. Exoerythrocytic means outside the red blood cells, because we know that sporozoites are injecting in the liver, so definitely it is outside the erythrocyte. So the second stage is the stages in the liver, exoerythrocytic schizogony. This takes place in the liver or in the hepatic tissues, you can say. Okay, so the liver got infected, and the merozoites comes out due to this cycle. This in the liver, the sporozoites convert into the merozoite. You can see the conversion over here. The black dots represent the merozoite, and then the merozoites enter into the red blood cells. Okay, and this cycles begin, and the new red blood cells get infection, okay, from this. So in this way we can say that the infection would spread from liver. First it acquired the liver, and then in the red blood cell the infection occurs. Okay, so it is called as this stage is called as the erythrocytic schizogony, as it occurs in the erythrocytes, or you can also say erythrocytic merogony, because the erythrocytes are got infected, and the signs and symptoms of malaria happens, or you can say signs and symptoms of malaria occur at this stage. Until and unless the infection is in the liver, so the patients will not face any signs and symptoms, but the signs and symptoms occur at the stage of the infection of the red blood cells. So some you can say merozoites perform two main functions. They infect the red blood cells or erythrocyte, as well as they also convert into the gametocyte. You can see two different red blood cell over here. The merozoite differentiates into the male-female sex cells or gametes, you can say. Okay, so this is the, let us label this merozoite. Intra-erythrocytic schizogony means the schizogony or the merogony which takes place in the red blood cells. It's called as the intra-erythrocytic schizogony. It means inside the red blood cells. Some merozoites develop into the gametocytes. Okay, so two cycles run. This is one cycle which infects new and healthy red blood cells, and some merozoites get converted or get specialized into the gametes or the sex cells. Okay, these are the gametocytes in the red blood cells. So these stages occur in the body of the man. Okay, so man acts as the intermediate host. You can see that only sex cells or gametes are formed, but the gametes are not going to be fertilized in the man. Okay, now begin to the next slide. Asexual stages, we saw that the asexual stages of the life cycle occur in the man, and the formation of gametocytes or the formation of sex cells takes place in the red blood cells or in the erythrocytes. So the man is the intermediate host, not the definitive host of the plasmodium. Okay, it's quite simple life cycle. Now the stages which occurs in the body of the mosquito. Here we go. This is the body of the man, which is shown over here in the purple box. We know that liver is infected, red blood cells are infected, and gametes are formed. These gametes are formed, you can say. Now these gametes are sucked up, or you can say these gametes are taken by the mosquito. This black box represents the body of the mosquito, and this is the alimentary canal of the mosquito. Now what happens here? In the body of the mosquito, when these gametes come in the body of the mosquito, so what happened? This is the male gametocyte and this is the female gametocyte. The red dots, eggs and sperms or gametocytes combined to form the egg, okay, in the digestive tract of the mosquito. This takes place in the digestive tract of the mosquito. So mosquito is the definitive host, as the sexual phases, as the sexual part of the life cycle occurs in the body of this creature. So this is definitely the definitive host. Okay. So in the salivary gland, what happens? First of all, the sperm and ovum combine. It will form as the zygote, which is also called as the ookinete. The zygotes now convert, or the zygotes will form numerous sporozoites. These yellow colored lines represent over here the sporozoites, and again, the sporozoites are going to be injected in the man again in the next cycle when the infected mosquito bites the man. So sporozoites again inject in the mosquito and the cycle completes. Okay. Now, if you see the previous slide, okay, so if we talk about the previous slide once again, you can see that the sporozoites inject in the man by the mosquito, and how the sporozoites come. The sporozoites come in this life cycle. We saw that the sporozoites is in the salivary gland of the mosquito, and the mosquito in turn injects the sporozoite in the human. And one thing I would like to mention over here, only female mosquito bites animals. Okay, so malaria also, it also causes malaria to several other species like monkeys and like gorillas, okay, chimpanzees, as well as the male mosquitoes do not bite human being, they feed on nectar. And the female mosquito bites human being because she needs some special protein from the blood in order to develop the eggs. So with the protein, it also ingest red blood cells, and red blood cells may contain gametocyte of the species of Plasmodium. So the life cycle completes. So we saw one thing, that the formation of zygote, or the fertilization, or the syngamy, or the union of egg and sperm, as it takes place in the body of mosquito. So mosquito is the definitive host. Okay, students, I hope you are getting this. The life cycle is very simple. So sexual stages occur in the gut of the mosquito, and zygote formation occurs, and zygote will convert into numerous sporozoite, and hence the mosquito is termed as the definitive host. Now this is the simple flow chart. Number one, in this we saw that number one is the sporozoite injected by the mosquito. Exoerythrocytic schizogony in liver, we discussed. Erythrocytic schizogony in red blood cell. Number one, liver is infected, and then the infection comes in the blood. And at this stage, at the stage number three, signs and symptoms appear in the malarial patient. Number four, gametocyte taken up by the mosquito. Number five, sporogony and sporozoites production in mosquito. And again, the sporogony is the process in which sporozoites form. So sporozoites again injected into the human being by the mosquito. In this way, the life cycle is completed. Now, if you have any question, any query, please write in the comments. Okay, I hope there is no problem in this life cycle. I have explained this life cycle in a very simple and easy way. So make your own notes, and don't forget one thing. If you want to ask anything, you can use my Facebook page as well as you can use the comment section. It's up to you. Okay, now I hope it will be very helpful for the medical students who are learning this life cycle. So inshallah, in the next video, we'll discuss the signs and symptoms of the malaria, treatment, and some precautionary measures we can take against the infection of the malaria. Okay. So until next video, thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.